Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member McCaskill. I want to start this morning, too, by adding my thoughts and prayers with those who were injured following this morning's horrific shooting. And I want to thank the men and women of the Capitol Police for the service they provide. They keep us safe every day and all the time, and as we saw today, are willing to risk their lives for the mission of keeping us all safe. So I am very grateful to them, as I am to all law enforcement and first responders today. And with that said, I want to turn to broaden the discussion a little bit, Mr. Leiter, with you about the issue of homegrown extremism and terrorism. In your view, how can the Department of Homeland Security work to prevent Americans from being radicalized, whatever their ideology or whatever the ideology it is that inspires them to be radicalized to the point where they're willing to carry out violence? Are we going to be able to arrest our way out of the threat of homegrown terrorism, or are we going to have to build partnerships? And again, you've addressed some of the issues about resources, but what kind of resources do we need to be able to do that?
Well, there's no doubt that we can't arrest our way out of it. And no bigger a softy than Donald Rumsfeld noted that in a famous Snowflake, where he said, the question is not how many we're killing, are we producing more than we're killing? And it's a slightly different situation with arresting, but it's the same challenge. So arresting those who have already gone beyond a certain level of extremism towards violence is a critical part of that. But the best way that, A, we're going to be able to find the people who need to be arrested, and B, reduce the number who are arrested, is those deep partnerships, are those deep partnerships with communities. Now, the FBI is good at that and has a global and national presence which is probably unmatched, but the Department of Homeland Security plays a key role because they are not all in law enforcement. And partnerships cannot just come from people with badges and guns. So from my perspective, the Department of Homeland Security can play several roles. First, you of course have the protective element. They are most responsible for our critical infrastructure, whether it is oil and gas, pipelines, ports, borders. They have to do that, and they have to be funded to do that. Programs like Viper help do that. Second, they have to be on the front lines of that engagement. And it's not just DHS people walking around the country saying, hi, I'm from DHS, I'm here to help. It is engaging with those communities so the communities understand how they are under threat and what sort of partnerships they have to engage with. Mm-hmm. It is helping them understand what ideological radicalization is occurring online, and also building those relationships. I'm looking over at Senator Harris because so many of these companies are in the Valley, but building those relationships between government and NGOs and technology communities, because there are things that the U.S. government, A, cannot say as a matter of constitutional law, and B, doesn't have any credibility anyway. And the DHS can play a key role in building those partnerships. Last but not least, DHS, along with the FBI, have to be remain at the center of the sharing of information, and not just sharing information, but sharing investigative leads with state and local law enforcement. So we never have a situation like Boston where something falls below the threshold for the FBI, but the Cambridge Police Department and the Boston Police Department might choose to pursue it. Right. And when they do that, they have to make sure that the police to whom they're handing that understand both constitutional limitations and, again, understand the ideological aspects of this, so they can make those same difficult distinctions at times between people who are peaceful adherents to Islam and those who have become politically charged violent actors.
Thank you very much. I yield the remainder of my time.